It's Mike from Tech TV, and we're here with Jack Wood from Eclipse.
Hello, how you doing, Mike? Good to see you again.
Doing good. So we're here to talk about the new Ego 10. So I'd like for you just to take me through some of the gun. One of the biggest questions that we get is what's the difference between the Ego 9 and the Ego 10?
Okay.
So obviously the Ego 9 was a big hit, so let's go through and talk about some of the differences between the Ego 9 and the Ego 10.
Okay, well, primarily, you know, and you picked up on a couple of videos I've seen already about the way, what we did with the turrets in the SL.
Right.
Yeah, the SL94 and the way that shoots. And basically what we're trying to do with the Ego 10 is take it a step further, and rather the turrets being like a drop-in kit or bolt-in kit to those SLs,
right.
All that technology and the know-how and what we discovered in going down that route, we built it into the actual base gun. So there aren't any turrets in there, there aren't any of the planks in there. The planks are the bits that replace the turrets, and they're like a really easy drop-in kit for a user to put in, where the turrets are quite difficult to fit. So this gun doesn't need it. It's got all that built into it already. All the porting is modified already, that gives you the same feel, but probably takes it a little bit further as well. So the feedback that we've been getting, I mean, the best feedback that I get is that I've been in the pits all day yesterday and all this morning, so our pro teams like Aftershock and Hurricanes, they got their guns last weekend. They played one practice with them last weekend, and then every single player is shooting them at this event.
Wow.
That's how confident they are in the gun. All the players are just saying this is by far the best Ego they've ever shot. Right. And they're coming up and saying, you know, no bullshit, Jack. These guns are phenomenal. They're the best out of the box gun you've ever done. So, I mean, that's.
Let's talk about, you know, what a lot of people may not understand what the throttle turrets are, what the plank kit was.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how, obviously, the Eagle was well known for speed. You know, originally your first Eagle 5, Eagle 6 had the QEDs on them.
Yeah.
And then now we're kind of going the other direction, where we're starting to slow the guns down a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, when you gave me the SL94 to test out that I did the show with, the white one, when I first took it in the backyard, I shot it, and I immediately went on and sent you an email.
Yeah.
This shoots way different than Eagles. I'm used to Eagles, you know, they're obviously they cycle very fast, but you feel that bolt slam back and forth very, very quickly. Now, talk about how what the throttle turrets do, what the plank does. Basically, we're slowing the bolt speed down, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, pneumatically, what we're doing is slowing the initial acceleration of the bolt.
Okay.
It's quite difficult with a poppet gun. The bolt still has to reach a certain amount of speed to drive the poppet valve open. So you can't slow the gun right down. I mean, you can't make it cycle as slowly as you can with some of the spool valve guns, because you still have to crack into that valve and knock the valve open. So you still need a certain amount of speed. But what we're doing now is we're more tightly controlling how that speed is applied. So you have a very slow initial kickoff. Then it builds on the speed, just enough speed to hit the valve and knock it open and give you full velocity. And then on the reverse stroke, you're doing a much more gentle acceleration towards the back. So when the bolt and the ram hit the back, it's not going with as much speed and doesn't impart as much force into the body. So when they hit the back, they don't kick the gun backwards.
Right.
So not only does it have that benefit of that thing's not slamming backwards and forwards and creating kick in the gun, it's also preventing like additional wear and tear on those components.
Right.
So it makes it, the design is a lot more robust. But what we did, obviously, that 05, 6, 7 and 8 was all, like I say, trying to generate speed.
Right.
And what we did, I mean, it sounds like easy to make something fast. It's really hard to make the guns go much faster. You know, we're trying to shave milliseconds off cycle times to get these peak speeds out. So what we ended up doing was basically making the gun too fast.
Right.
It was, you know, so fast that, you know, it didn't feel right.
Right.
And nobody needs that speed anymore. It's not, for us, it's not a selling point anymore. Right. All the leagues are becoming limited. There's talk of even like the semi-auto leagues maybe going capped or converting to ramping. So now what is more important to the players is they're saying I want a gun that doesn't kick as much. When it's ramping and giving me a consistent 10 or 12 BPS, I don't want it rising the whole time. I want it to get a pop on the first shot and then stay steady. And that's the big difference that you get with it. So
now with these new improvements, for the people that are really into experimental paintball, because there are a lot of people that they'll go and purchase the gun just for the speed.
Yeah.
Have you noticed it's slowing down? You know, I know with the Ego 8, the Ego 9, those were, I mean, you got videos of those hitting over 40 balls a second. How much has it really slowed the gun down in terms of max rate of fire? I mean, for people that really like experimental paintball.
Yeah, it's really slow now. It's only down to about 28 to 30 now.
Right.
So, you know, we're not talking slow here.
Right.
It's not slow. It's not like blip, blip, blip. It's still.
It's a paint in 1 minute. You know?
Yeah. The thing still rips. I mean, flat out. But you know, shaving that. there were no loaders that could shoot between 30 and 40 BPS.
Right.
So it's pointless making a gun that can shoot that fast.
Right.
And at the time when we were developing those guns, you know, loader technology was going so fast, and people were making faster and faster loaders, and now all the loaders have gone the other way. Everybody wants a more consistent supply at 15 BPS.
Right.
They want it more gentle on the paint, so it's not crushing the paint in the stack, so they can shoot more gentle paints, more fragile paint. So us going faster and faster and, you know, aiming for 50 BPS was just completely and utterly pointless.
Yeah,
so,
I just wanted to address that, because I was they're slowing the bolt speed down. I need a gun that shoots 25, well, this one shoots 30, I think.
I mean, I've had it on uncapped ramping with our test loader, shot 28 like a flat-out 28, so
wow.
it's not plenty fast enough. Yeah,
that's still plenty fast.
Yeah. So.
Well, with that said, obviously the pneumatics was a major improvement. I felt it in the SL94 that I purchased. Now, what are some of the other upgrades that you've done? I noticed you've got a larger LCD screen in the back.
Yeah, the electronics package is all completely new.
Okay.
If you open the grip up and look, the board has still got the same layout. It still fits in the same way. You've still got this opto and the micro switch, but it's got a brand new processor. The board is actually a brand new board. The software is completely new from the ground up. It hasn't imported any of the old software. Even though the graphic user interface is brand new, it's still familiar to everybody who's shot, you know, everything from the E-blade cockers. You know, it works. People know it, and they've been using it for a long time. So all the adjustability is still there, plus lots more additional adjustability.
Any additions in battery life? I mean, obviously that's a major concern.
It's been a bit of a trade-off in that gains that we've made in the battery life have been taken back in other ways. Right. So it's about the same as an 09.
Okay.
So it's pretty much identical to an 09. So obviously it's still got the same type of solenoid in there, and that's the biggest power drain is from the solenoid. So the LCD display takes a minor amount more.
Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is just take me through the markers, some of the improvements, and some of the features of the gun, starting from the
rammer and bolt. Okay, so pneumatically we've obviously got the way the rammer and the bolt's driven, so that's all new inside there. You've got the ZIC-2 rammer, which is straight out of the SL94. So that's got like the 3-stage cushioning at the back. So there's first of all the air pocket, where the tail goes into the air pocket and seals off there. That's the first stage. Second stage is the tail then comes up against a domed urethane bumper that actually deforms and absorbs the impact as the ram gets to the end. And then finally it comes up against a second urethane final position bumper, which gives it its final stationary spot. So you've got the ZIC-2 ram kit in there. You've got the Cure 3 bolt. Cure 3 Plus bolt. The head of it, just pop that out. So the head is the same as the Cure 3, so the ramped inlet in the top, the cupped face which positions a ball perfectly in the stack, slotted double O-ring with the suspension system at the top to stop the clipping of the second ball in the stack as the bolt goes forwards. The new thing that makes it a plus is it's hard to see inside a black bolt, but there's now a ramped inlet surface there.
Okay.
And basically that works by having a removable insert in the back here. So all you do is you pull a pin out, same as you would any other Ego bolt. Put it in halfway, twist the pin, pull the pin out. That insert then slides out from the back. Okay. So it can put different inserts in. So in the future, I expect to see some different different inserts in there. We haven't finalised it. We've been trying a load of different stuff. I mean, the one that I've been shooting for a while now that's really nice is basically has I probably shouldn't say anything, but it has like a little silencer on the end of it.
Right.
So it actually disrupts the airflow as it comes through. Drops the velocity a little bit, but it makes it shoot really quiet. So, so you know, there's a trade-off with that kind of thing. So
at least now you have the adjustability. You can put different inserts.
That's right. It's not a whole new bolt. You just slide the insert out, slide different, and you can just swap it in between matches, whatever. It's really easy. So you know, if we were doing an SL version of this, you know, we expect to maybe see a couple of different inserts. So you know what we do, like different triggers, and you maybe get a couple of different inserts as well for the bolt.
At least it's not like a pre-stamped item that you have no adjustability.
No, that's right.
You know, changing up some of the parameters inside the bolt, that's really nice.
I mean, the benefit, obviously, with the standard one that's in there is you've got that ramped inlet, so you've got a nice smooth transfer of gas from your inlet to your outlet. So that covers that bit to the back. Obviously, the clamping feed, which we always have, got the thumb wheel on there as well now as standard, which came off the SL94. That makes a big difference.
That's a godsend too. When you pull it off, and all of a sudden
messing around with it. So that's pretty cool. There's a new little swivel on there as well as minor things. Drop down to the electronics. Like I said, the new circuit board does a lot of things that the old one did, but a lot more new stuff as well. The LCD display on the back that we touched on before, it's got a true RGB colour display. You actually go into the software, you can select percentage of red, green and blue, and it'll give you a completely custom look, so you can match your display colour to any part of your gun, or just have it completely whack weird, any colour you want. You know, anything from white to being completely off, and then every colour under the rainbow.
Now, is that something you can plug into your computer and edit, or how exactly does that work? Or is that just
that's just done in the software. So you know, just like you don't need to plug this gun into a computer. It's just like same as we've always done. Everything is adjustable on the display. So you just go in, you go to the hardware menu, find your settings for your RGB, set the percentage of RGB, and you'll see it alter the colour of your backlight as you do it, and just pick a colour that you like, and that's it.
Wow, so people are probably going to be doing that on the drive home from
I can imagine a lot of people. It's just something to play around with. It's just a cool little feature. Some of the performance changes with your circuit board, it's not just like a more robust circuit board and the new display. All the drive circuitry has been redone for the solenoid, and the timing systems and all the software, like I say, was completely new. So we've got a much tighter control on the dwell. No matter what you do, you always get slight variances in your dwell, your drive to your solenoid. Because the processor is trying to do several things at the same time. It's trying to look at the eyes to see if there's a ball in the breeze, it's trying to update the display, it's trying to drive the solenoid, all those things at the same time. Whereas now a much higher priority with a much more accurate processor and crystal is controlling that dwell signal. So you get more consistency basically.
Right. We don't have people saying, well, my dwell runs at 8.5, well, mine runs at 9.2. You know, so you can get a much more precise dwell.
Oh yeah. On top of that, combined with the dwell, the rate of fire control, the cap control is a lot more accurate as well. So you should have less issue with the pack timers, things like that on the field.
Right.
So on the board also, there's the new, a completely new auxiliary port.
Okay.
Still got the same 3-pin auxiliary port we had on the old boards for RF transmitter. There's also an additional port. It's going to mean you'll be able to put a little expansion board in there with USB socket on it. There's going to be, we'll probably do our own RF transmitters, maybe looking at doing something with New Prophecy, the new Prophecy back with the chip in it, and try and get some kind of communication.
LTD, I think
Try and get a bit of communication going between the gun and the loader, so we can more tightly control when the loader needs to drive, how far it needs to drive, rate of fire control, things like that. So you can shoot more and more fragile paint. So the loader knows what the gun's doing and vice versa. So that's pretty much everything in the electronics, and like I say, that's all completely new.
Now, with the widening of the screen, did you widen up the grip frame?
No,
it's still exactly
the same.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
It appears to be a little bit wider when you first see it, but it's just because you're used to the narrow screen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, this layout was actually designed last year. The 09 was designed to take that size screen.
Really?
But it just never came through in time. We didn't have it in time. It's just one of those typical things. Because all our LCDs, none of them have ever been off-the-shelf item. They're custom-made for us.
Okay.
They're not just bought-in items from an LCD manufacturer.
Right.
You know, they are designed and custom-built for us, and we're the only customer that takes those. Anybody who wants to get hold of those, they can't. So you can only get them off us. So that's why it was already designed for that. In fact, if you take that console off an 09, you'll see that the window's cut really big inside.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in the future see these boards available for 09s as well as an upgrade board with a big display.
That'd be nice.
So it'll just drop straight in there.
Very nice. You're still going with the
shaft 3. Shaft 3 barrel. LPR is the same internal LPR as the SL94, but we've got a new feature on there, which is like a low pressure relief. See this little hole right under here?
Yes.
So basically what that little hole does is it provides an atmospheric gap between the high pressure and the low pressure sides inside the valve.
Okay.
So where you have the O-rings that seal off on the LPR housing and keep the high pressure valve chamber away from the low pressure solenoid drive, there's now a little vent that goes through there to atmosphere. So if either of those O-rings ever get damaged that are on there, you get a leak out of here and you never get high pressure air contaminating your low pressure side and overdriving your solenoid and overdriving your ram.
Very nice.
So basically it's added protection. Just if you get a little leak, you know you've got an issue, whereas before you could probably use the gun for several months not knowing that you're actually running high pressure air into your solenoid. So it's just again nice little feature, just trying to make the gun as durable and as idiot proof as possible. So
we need it. Now let's talk about the milling that's on it. I mean, did you with the with the 10, did you look to make the gun a little bit heavier? Did you look to make the gun a little bit lighter? What was the direction in terms of when you deciding the weight of the gun?
You know, with this gun and this platform, as you see at the moment, the 09, 010, there's not much to play with.
Right.
You know, we're right down there. I mean, you look at these. This is following. These are minimum wall thicknesses here that you need to get the high pressure air sealed inside there. So there's not much for us to go. It works out a few grams lighter. It's not heavier. And it's just a few grams lighter. It's probably not even an ounce lighter. But you know, we've packed some more stuff in there and. You know, we haven't increased the weight. That's the main thing. So
very nice.
You know, we really have to go for SL style milling to really get the weight out of it. And you know, at this price point with the standard Ego, we can't do that. It's just too cost prohibitive for us to do that. So.
Now, maybe for some of the teams that have invested in parts kits and stuff like that, if we could talk really quickly about what parts they can use on the 10. That way they're not having to invest in a whole new parts kit. I mean, the O-ring's still pretty much the same, D10s are still the same, okay.
D10's still the same, you know, the bolt, rammer O-ring's the same. Okay. Inline regulators is internally the same reg as last year. So it's got the self-purging feature, so when you undo the tank, it vents the air out the gun. So yeah, I mean, LPR pistons, inline reg pistons, they're all the same.
Good,
good. So yeah, you don't need a whole new bunch of parts for this gun.
Good deal.
I mean, the main thing is the way it shoots, and it's really hard to, you know, put that across. It's not something I can pull out and go, you know, this is one of those things. It's, you know, you really have to go and shoot it and feel the difference. And like I say, the teams have just been stoked with them, so they're really made up with them.
Good deal. Well, I'll see the review up on Tech Review here pretty soon.
I hope so.
Once again, Jack, always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.